In Detroit's 91 seasons as a franchise, 2024 was the most historic. 15 wins, back-to-back NFC North titles, a prolific offense, and a defense that defied all the odds. This season is one we won't ever forget in the Motor City. We're breaking it all down one last time right here on Inside the Pride.
Let's go.
Caught! End zone! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Kirby Joseph, you just ended this ball game. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. J-Mo in stride.
Yes!
Got him! Gone! End zone! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! There we go! Oh, baby! Brian Branch intercepted it. This game is over!
This is Inside the Pride, presented by Whisker, maker of the Little Robot. I'm Dannie Rogers. Detroit captured the 1 seed in the NFC for the first time in team history. Lions brought the magic to the Motor City against the Commanders in the divisional round that ended in heartbreak.
Playoff football back in the Motor City. The Lions, the #1 seed in the NFC, set to take on the Washington Commanders. Well, to date, Dan Campbell's team has done everything they set out to do. They won the North. They are the top seed in the NFC. So for the next 60 minutes of football, it is about continuing to handle your business, to do what the Lions have done all year, to figure it out. And as the head coach says, just score one more point than the guys on the other side. If they do that, they'll be playing next week in the NFC Championship game. If they don't, it'll be off to a long off season. 2 teams, 1 team moves on. We're ready to roll here inside of Ford Field. 4th and 1 from the Lion 28. They snap it and they didn't get it. And that did not work for Washington. Out will come that Lions offense on first down. Goff to throw, does left side, got Gibbs inside the 30, inside the 25, inside the 20, and down to the 14-yard line. Jared up under center, turns, gives it to Jameer, trying to get outside left. He does! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Jameer Gibbs takes it to the house. First down from the Lion 29. Daniels empty out of the gun. He's got the football, quick throw left side, knocked up in the air, it's incomplete. Terrific play by Zadarius Smith. Daniels out of the gun, takes the snap. Lions bring a blitz. Daniels throws, middle, caught. Nope, knocked away. Incomplete. Terrific play by Kindle Vildor that time. So on 4th and 10, Washington will send out Zane Gonzalez for the field goal attempt. He snaps, spot, kick away. It is up and it is good. Montgomery splits out wide to the left. Goff takes the snap back, looking, in trouble, lost the football. It's going to be recovered by Washington. And that's a big turnover there by the Lions that allows a scoring chance to go by the wayside. Daniels out of the gun, Robinson to his left. Now Robinson switches to the right of his quarterback. He gets the handoff. He's into the end zone for the touchdown. Washington takes the lead. That turnover by the Lions comes back to haunt them. 4-man front for Washington. Goff takes the snap, back and looking. Goff throwing deep downfield, right side with a flag down. It is caught, grabbed by Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had to lay out to make the grab inside the 30 and down to the Washington 29-yard line. Goff turns, fakes to Montgomery, looks, in trouble, rolling right, he throws, it is caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Oh, Sam Laporta just reached out with his left hand and made the grab. You are ridiculous, man. That is something else. Daniels takes the shotgun snap, quick throw, left side, got it complete. It is caught. That is McLaurin running through contact, down the left sideline, inside the 30, inside the 25, inside the 10, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. Goff on 2nd down and 14 takes the shotgun snap. Jared back, Jared looking, stepping up, throwing. It is Tim Patrick and intercepted. Overthrew his receiver, picked off by Washington. Quan Martin inside the 20, inside the 10, to the end zone. That's a touchdown for Washington. Pick 6. On first down, Bridgewater hands. They give it to Gibbs. He goes on the end around the other way. That's J-Mo. J-Mo inside the 40. J-Mo to the 50. J-Mo down to the 30. Cutting right. J-Mo with a block. He's going to the house. Jamison Williams, 10-5. End zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions, 61 yards. 2 teams will head for the locker room, and the Lions have some work to do. Defensively, they have not been able to stop Washington. Offensively, they have given it up 3 times. That has resulted in 14 Washington points. Goff takes the snap, tosses to Montgomery. Montgomery flips it ahead to Amon-Ra St. Brown up the hash, inside the 10. Bounces down to the 7-yard line. That's a pass by David Montgomery to Amon-Ra St. Brown. How about that play? 2nd and goal from the 8. Goff gives it to Gibbs, straight up the gut, to the 2, to the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. And the Lions are right back in this game. It's 31-27. Daniels takes the shotgun snap, hands to Robinson, he's in. And Washington with a chance to extend that lead back to 10. The Lions have just been chasing them for most of the night. There's the snap. Give it to McNichols. Fights at the 2, down to the 1, reaches the ball out, and he's in. Touchdown. That's kind of your night in a capsule right there. It remains a 2-score game with 2:26 to go. So whatever happens, this offense has to go quickly here. 3rd and 10. Goff back. Looking, throwing, picked off. It is intercepted by Washington. Jeremy Chin comes away with it, and that's going to do it. The Washington Commanders are going to the NFC Championship game, and the #1 seed Detroit Lions are headed for a very, very long offseason.
Coming up next, we join head coach Dan Campbell's press conference for his season-ending remarks. Then one of Detroit's most iconic offensive linemen, Dan Skipper, stops by the studio to recap a historical season.
Inside the Pride is presented by Whisker and brought to you by the Ford Motor Company, Henry Ford Health, and by Meyer.
Morning. It was tough. It was tough the other day, and tough pill to swallow. When you have goals, and you have standards for yourself, and I mean that for us as a team collectively, and you fail to reach those, man, it hurts. And but ultimately, man, we failed. We failed in that game. We had a hell of a season, and we overcame a lot of adversity. We got to where we wanted to get to, and then we did not perform, and man, credit Washington. They did what they needed to do, and they played a good game, but when you feel like, hey, you got to bring your A game. I think if we bring our B game, we got a chance to win that game, and we didn't bring that. So that's the frustration. I know everybody's frustrated. I know the fans are, certainly our team, coaches, everybody in the organization. So that being said, I'm real proud of these guys. I am. I'm proud of them because I know the fight they've got in them, and I know what they're made of, and the amount of things that they did overcome speaks volumes. So, as I said in the loss, everybody's got a hand in that. Everybody's got a hand, including me. And so, we definitely did that together. We earned that loss together. But listen, all we can do is move forward. Man, you brush yourself off. I've already gone through the loss of a family member feeling to anger yesterday to now I'm back on my feet ready to roll. And I've acknowledged, I can look in the mirror and say, you know what, you failed, man. What are you going to do about it? So that's where we're at. And move forward, man. Questions?
Look at the way this roster was constructed. We're putting a lot of the foundational pieces together to be here for the same amount of years. Do you feel like the Super Bowl window is still open for you guys going forward?
Yeah, I do, man. I think that's, we talk about that core group is still intact, and I think the most important thing is you want to know you got your culture, you got your identity, and you got players and that fit into that, and we've got that. So absolutely our window is open.
Yeah, the last couple of days I've heard some, including fans, kind of looking for solace by looking back at past championship teams in this area. Do you think there's something to that?
I just go back to this. When you have the right guys and you're made the right way, failure only makes you stronger. And I told the team, just don't forget it. Just remember that feeling. No different than last year, that's all. I mean, those are the things that you etch in your mind that you don't ever want to forget. So we fell short, it wasn't good enough. The players are extremely disappointed. I know the fans are, I certainly am, but we will reload and we will be back. All right, thanks, guys.
We are wrapping up this series of Inside the Pride episodes here. None other than offensive lineman Dan Skipper is joining me after a gut-wrenching loss in the divisional round inside Ford Field. No one thought the season would end this soon based on the trajectory. What was your mindset as soon as the game was done?
I think at first I was sad, just disappointed, knowing what could have potentially been and just didn't take care of business. And yeah, I think after that it was sad, and then woke up this morning pissed off.
What was the collective mood in the locker room after the game?
Just deflated, real quiet. Just, thinking about what could have been and just isn't.
How do you balance thinking about what could have been and really what this team can still accomplish in the future?
I think looking forward, you've got to, understand, where we went wrong this year. Things that went right, how do we repeat those and then, fix the problems at the end there.
A lot of things did go right. 15 wins. You only lost 3 ball games. How amazing is it, regardless of the outcome, just what this team did?
Winning the division, winning 15 games, it's great, it's cool. We averaged 30-something points a game on offense, but at the end of the day, we didn't accomplish the goal we set out to do. I think it's bittersweet, no matter how you look at it. A few weeks, few months, it'll sting a little less, but it might sting more, I don't know. That empty feeling again of, what we didn't accomplish and didn't get done. So I think that'll, push you to give it a little more again this year, really focus on the off season and find ways to improve and get better and go from there. So see what happens.
What makes locker cleanout day so difficult for you?
I think just the finality of it. You're in it, expecting to be here, and then the next day you're just done. There's no drawdown. It's just you lose, show up at 9:30, get your physical, turn all your stuff in, and this group will never be together again.
This coaching staff will probably change. Players may not get signed or they'll get signed somewhere else. How do you process just not seeing some of your buddies that you were used to seeing and went through so much with?
That's probably the toughest part is the relationships. The coaching staff's probably not going to be the same. The players aren't going to be the same. There's going to be a new batch of rookies. There's going to be, guys that you spent a lot of time with over the last, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years that aren't there anymore. And it's just part of it. We'll see each other when we see each other, and that's just how this game works.
You became one of the biggest personalities in Detroit this past season with Dan Skipper reporting eligible based off what happened last season. The city loves you. They love cheering for you. What do you have to say to the fans who have been holding their breath waiting for this team to get to the big one?
No, we're as disappointed as they are. We take a lot of inspiration from their stories, the parents, the grandparents, the, people who, won't be here, next year, the next time that, we get an opportunity to, to shine, to make the big one. But, our fan support has been unbelievable. We've got in my opinion, the best fans in the league and didn't go unnoticed. So, your pain is equally felt by us, and that's a tough pill to swallow. There are a lot of people that we're looking forward to, us continuing this run, and when it just comes to an abrupt end, there's a lot of sadness and anger on their part, and it's equally felt by us too.
Mm-hmm. Off season means what for the Skipper family?
We're gonna go back home to Orange Beach. Probably got some diapers to change and reconnect with family and friends, and then after that, get back into the garage, start training again, and remember this one and move on and get ready for whatever lies ahead.
Welcome back. We switched Dan Skipper out for Tim Twentyman, Detroit Lions senior writer.
A little smaller in this chair.
That's fine. I wasn't going to say anything. We adjusted the cameras. Season is over for the Detroit Lions. It sure was a historical one. It ends a game sooner than last year, where Lions went all the way to the NFC Championship game. We saw a locker clean out, Dan Campbell addressed the media.
It's always the worst time of the year, isn't it?
And that's
just
what the players
finality
say.
of it.
The finality is the worst. What is just the mindset, the emotions you took away from the last few days?
I mean, disappointment, obviously. You know, they had higher goals. And look, the Super Bowl word isn't something, like I've been here covering this team for 16 years, and that isn't something you talk about in the offseason in the spring a whole lot, but that was part of the conversation this year. With what they did last year, going to the NFC Championship game, being 30 minutes from the Super Bowl, that was the goal. And I think it was a realistic goal, especially when you look at what they did in the regular season with the 15 wins, winning the NFC North Championship for a second straight year, getting the 1 seed, and then for it to end that way. And I think it's disappointing just because they didn't play very well. Leaving that game, you felt if you were a Detroit fan or if you were on that roster, like you let one slip away. And that's always the tough feeling to have when a season ends like that.
You mentioned the 2 words Super Bowl, and coming into this season, the big question was, is it Super Bowl or is it bust? If you don't go to the Super Bowl, is this entire season a letdown? Was it? You just rattled off all of those historical
I mean,
things.
it's disappointing. It's hard to say it's a letdown because, look, in the grand scheme of things, in the end, there's 31 teams that are going to be disappointed, right? There's only one that ends the season feeling like they accomplished everything they set out to do. And so the fact that they didn't make it as far, you know, I think it would have been maybe a little bit easier for Lions fans to handle had they gone to the NFC Championship game, again, had lost to a really good Philadelphia Eagles team, and, you know, they could have handled it a little bit better. Not going that far, sure, I think it's disappointing. I think it's a letdown. They certainly didn't accomplish their goals. Bust? I don't know. I mean, it was such a terrific season, getting the 1 seed and hosting a playoff game and everything that comes with that. All the young players like Terry and Arnold who got a ton of experience who are not going to be better for it. So I wouldn't say it's a bust. Disappointing, certainly. But look, there's 31 teams that are like that, like I said, and unfortunately Detroit's one of them.
Dan Campbell said, and he told us earlier this week, they're going to have to do a lot of self-scouting before he can actually tell us what position group is going to need the most help. From your standpoint, Tim, right off the bat, which one do they really need to address this offseason?
Well, it kind of depends on what they do in free agency, right? I mean, you know, a couple big free agent names. Carlton Davis III, I thought he played at a Pro Bowl level before he broke his jaw against Buffalo, and they didn't have him there at the end of the season. Kevin Zeitler was a Pro Bowl alternate. You know, they're going to have to decide what they want to do at guard at that position. But, you know, he talked about defensive depth, and obviously that was something that...
I thought there was a lot of defensive depth, I'm not going to lie to you.
It was tested, let's say that. But, you know, defensive line-wise, you know, and I think at cornerback, I think those are 2 spots. You could add some depth to that defensive line, interior and on the edge, and then depending on what they do with Carlton Davis. So I think those are 2 positions that I would probably think that Dan and Brad, when they sit down and decide where they need to add to this football team, those are 2 that'll end up high on the list.
Yeah, well, 6 months later, we're here. Unfortunately, we're here.
Fortunately, yeah,
I
wish we were doing something for a few more weeks, but look, 15 wins, you win the North again, you've established yourself as one of those teams in the NFC that's going to have to be dealt with for a long, long time. And what I take solace in, Danny, and I think Lions fans should too, is you look at the core of this football team, right? Penei Sewell, what, 23 years old? Amon-Ra St. Brown, 24. Aiden Hutchinson, 24. Jared Goff just turned 30. Jahmyr Gibbs is less than 25. I mean, look at the core of this football team. All the guys that you were like, wow, that's the reason why we got there.
It's fine.
All those guys are young. They're going to be good for a long, long time. They'll recalibrate this thing. They'll get better, and we'll try to do it again in 2025.
We appreciate you as always, Tim. Thanks so much for stopping by. Inside the Pride, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the very last Rogers Rewind of the season right here on Inside the Pride. And I took to X because I wanted to know all of One Pride's favorite memories from this past season. 15 wins, undefeated on the road. There's so many to pick from. Shout out to Luis for sending in this great photo. Remember when Lions played the Cardinals way back in the beginning of the season? Well, that was a dub, and Luis and his crew took to the Grand Canyon, made a whole trip out of it. Those kind of memories are the best. Shout out to Mark Pilgrim Mullins. Everyone knows this Lions superfan. He said his favorite moment this past season was that win on Thanksgiving Day, eating turkey with a smile on all of our faces. I agree, Mark. And last but not least, shout out to Snack Efron, who said the locker room celebrations were his favorite. Those were all great memories we'll have for the rest of our lives. And thanks to all of One Pride for joining us here every single week for Inside the Pride. We love your loyalty. Wouldn't be able to do it without you. It was one heck of a season. Now time for a little bit of rest before the Detroit Lions get back after it. We'll see you next season.